Hey everyone, you're watching We Had That. This past weekend, I went to JoeFest in Augusta, Georgia, and this video is a walkthrough showing all of the cool toys that I saw while I was there. There were a lot of G.I. Joe Real American Hero figures, both packaged and loose, as well as a ton of G.I. Joe vehicles, as you can see here. Here's some of the loose figures. For the first time, I saw Vitruvian hacks in person, so that was kind of a cool thing to check out. Here's a Slimer that was getting a lot of attention while I was there. All kinds of stuff. You can see Star Wars, both vintage and the 90s stuff. Here are a couple of Masters of the Universe Battle Cats from the vintage line. Mythic Legions figures. It was the first time I had seen a lot of Mythic Legions figures in person, and that's one of the lines I've been collecting lately. Here's some more of the G.I. Joe, both some of the more recent figures here, and I think the next clip here, we've got some of the carded vintage figures. So that's cool. There was a lot of variety there. Masters of the Universe, a very few 12-inch vintage figures. Here's some more modern 12-inch G.I. Joe, as well as Captain Action and a bunch of the Universal monsters from Sideshow, as well as Indiana Jones 12-inch figures. Here's some of the reissues of the Masters of the Universe that came out before the 2000X line. A couple more Mythic Legions figures. Those two are based on characters from Masters of the Universe. There's the Mega Constructs set, Mondo, He-Man, and a couple of fakers. Here's an Eternia playset. This one was in good shape. I actually saw two Eternia playsets while I was there. I believe this one is from the store Eternia Dreams. They drove 8 hours to be at this show. Here's a bunch of their vintage figures for sale, as well as some of the G.I. Joe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that they were selling. They're a really big store, and they came out to display their wares. Here's a giant flag that has been customized. Some carded Superpowers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, Star Wars, and more G.I. Joe. I think most of that's vintage. The Boulder Hill Mask playset. That was cool to see. Here's more G.I. Joe vehicles from the Real American Hero era. You'll see a lot of that in this video. There was a lot of Real American Hero era vehicles and figures, as well as the more modern G.I. Joe. Some Star Wars up there at the top. Here's some comic books. There weren't a whole lot of comic books, but there were a pretty good amount. More G.I. Joe loose figures in little packages. File cards. There were a lot of people selling G.I. Joe file cards. Some Star Wars cases and some Thor Avenger sets. I thought the Steel Monsters truck was pretty cool. There's the Masters of the Universe Roton, but the Steel Monsters truck, you don't see those in the package very often. Have no idea what that plane was from, but it's a G.I. Joe piece. This vendor had some plush toys, as well as some other anime action figures and toys. Here's some Lego Star Wars stuff and Lord of the Rings, some other miscellaneous action figures here, a lot of Spider-Man and other Marvel characters. Some Marvel Legends here. PowerCon She-Ra figure and the Fighting Foemen, which I believe was also a PowerCon exclusive. Spider-Man with a guitar. Some more Marvel guys. And some Transformers here. Most of the Transformers I saw were more modern. There were pops, but not a whole lot of pops. This vendor was selling statues here. Some video game action figures at this vendor, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle NECA figures. Those are always really cool, but a little out of my price range. More TMNT. Some of the new Ghostbusters and Masters of the Universe Origin figures, which are out in stores now. Thundercats, that's a pretty cool set. Mego 14-inch superheroes. That vendor also had Mego 8-inch action figures. Here's some more G.I. Joe loose figures. And some mask stuff. Lots of trading cards at this table. More loose G.I. Joe action figures, more carded G.I. Joe action figures, and some vehicles and other accessories. There's the base from G.I. Joe from the second series, some Transformers here, superpowers, lots of superpowers, but none at a price that I was willing to pay. I found a lot of the prices to be a little bit out of my personal price range, but I did find a few cool things to pick up while I was there. More G.I. Joe stuff here. This diorama was set up. I'm not sure what the purpose of it was. I didn't talk to the guy who had built this, but it looks pretty cool. And there's some G.I. Joe vehicles in there. Here's some classic Little Green Army Men, as well as some 12-inch scale vehicles. Here's some more Star Wars stuff in a larger scale, and more 1/6 scale vehicles. Container of wrestlers. I really liked the Shogun Warriors. I saw a few of the Shogun Warriors this weekend. A big pile of Skeletor figures. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Technodrome. Some Fisher-Price Adventure people. That was a cool thing to see there. A bunch of Legos. Some more Thundercats and Masters of the Universe. More wrestlers. Big tub of wrestlers. Starbird. It's cool to see the Starbird. I had that as a kid. No idea what this is, but that was pretty cool. And we have some Boglins here. I rarely see Boglins, so it was cool to see a whole line of them there. Some Universal Monsters. And a variety of different action figures here. Some comic books and bins of miscellaneous loose toys. More comic books over here. Some vintage Star Wars in the box. Here's a carded Hordak figure. That was cool to see. The Mego Kiss figures, a complete set in the box, and a Captain Action Superman, some Tron and Black Hole figures, and Megos, vintage Megos back there on the rack. Here's some 12-inch G.I. Joes. Not a whole lot of vintage 12-inch Joes there. More superpowers. I don't think this vendor had any of the ones that I needed. And a bunch of superhero action figures from Marvel and DC over here, as well as some G.I. Joe and other miscellaneous action figures. Video game systems and Barbies, as well as some other action figures. I think those are some Pops up there out of the package. More vintage 12-inch G.I. Joe. The training tower there, and some more of the Real American Hero Joe. Boxed space capsule. That's pretty cool. More G.I. Joe vehicles over here. This guy printed dog tags and jewelry. We had quite a few artists. Here's some more. I believe these are knockoff Legos. Lots of them, though. When it comes to quantity, this vendor certainly had a lot of Lego-compatible figures. Some more wrestlers over here. And more comic books over here. This section actually had a lot of artists. This aisle had a lot of artists. So I'll see, I think, a couple more quick clips of artists and some Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars. Some pins and stickers. And another artist table. Here's some plush toys. And Randy Bishop from Time Bound Entertainment. More Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars. So that's about it for the walkthrough. What did I pick up at the show? Well, first of all, I picked up a couple of dial tone action figures. They were in a bin, $3 each or 2 for $5. Each one of these figures has its problems, but I think if I take them apart, I can put together one good dial tone figure for just $5. I picked up a Televiper from Eternia Dreams. It's a complete figure, even comes with the file card, and at $20, I felt like that was a pretty good deal. I also picked up the Night Landing Raft, complete with all of the accessories. I picked up a loose Thundercats Classics Pumara action figure. She's missing one of her hands and one of her accessories, but for $10, I thought, hey, why not? And just before I left the show, I saw a bag of miscellaneous little plastic action figures. I picked up 5 of these monsters at $2 a piece. So that was my haul at the show. One last thing before I go, if you're a fan of toys, you should know about Toylanta, the biggest toy show in the southeastern United States, held annually each year just north of Atlanta, Georgia. Visit Toylanta.com for more information. As always, thanks for watching.